What's up guys, it's Naf here. So late in August, there was an update where the Anima gains in the Shattered Worlds minigame were increased, specifically from completing floors you've already done before. When this content was originally launched, I did actually try it out myself and gave it a review based on my experience, with my overall opinion being that it was poorly balanced and the rewards were severely overpriced, especially for how quickly this minigame would become repetitive. So a quick overview of the Shattered Worlds minigame for anyone who hasn't done it. The bulk of the content is you clearing floors, where each floor you would need to kill 75% of the monsters in the area before you can progress to the next floor, which progressively gets harder. Along the way you must choose one of 3 buffs or debuffs, which give you some variation to the floors, although in my opinion, the buffs are pretty lackluster and the debuffs are relatively annoying. When progressing to a floor higher than one you've ever progressed to before, you get a significant amount of Anima, and on launch this was realistically the only way people were able to earn enough of the currency to get any rewards. Attempting to farm Anima through doing floors you had already done before was very unrewarding, and in my experience it was only giving around 1 million Anima an hour at best for people who had relatively average gear. When I was reviewing this content for the first time, I did do it over 2 days, and for a grand total of around 10 to 12 hours, and in that time I did nearly amass 23 million Anima. Now the bulk of that was clearing new highest floors for the first time, and as you can see by my rewards, for 2 days of work, there really isn't much to buy to justify that time spent. So what I did today was spend nearly 6 hours grinding floors, starting at 51 and going as high as I could, and repeat to see what kind of Anima I could get to see if I could actually manage to earn one of the decent rewards. Now there's a ton of ways you can approach this minigame, but as an Ironman I wasn't interested in using any valuable supplies such as overloads or brews, and simply took prayer potions, as I have plenty of them from my kingdom, and used blood barrage in legacy mode to keep myself alive without food, and simply relying on my auras and soul split as well as the blood barrage spell to get me by. As you can see in general, I was getting a decent amount of Anima, although it was obviously varying depending on how well I did, due to the fact the buffs, debuffs offered, and the layout of the map is pretty random. Your experience does vary slightly every time. So to sum up my stats over the 6 runs, I was in the minigame for a total of 5 hours and 46 minutes and gained a total of 39.7 million Anima, which averages out to about 6.9 million Anima per hour. Now, this is actually a significant increase from what it was previously, and I feel it actually makes it pretty decent, considering I was only using tier 70 power armor and with a sun spear and not using valuable supplies. So in my opinion, what this means is farming Anima is now actually relatively viable as an Ironman, as before this update, the only people who did get decent amounts of Anima per hour were using full tier 90 with some of the best supplies possible to push through the high floors. For Ironman, there are a range of rewards I personally think are very beneficial, such as the 2 abilities and in particular the Slayer masks. The yellow and green Wiram mask will really help Ironmen who are struggling to get the pieces to make their full Slayer masks, and a lot of other masks open up opportunities for players to farm items they want or need whilst getting Slayer XP on a daily basis. But that pretty much wraps it up for this one. I personally see myself farming at least enough Anima for the 2 abilities and possibly a few Slayer masks as well. If you haven't tried this minigame, I highly recommend it as it's pretty fun for the first few hours at least, with a lot of unique monster models, and if you don't have supplies or even gear, you can select an option to have those provided to you, although you don't get given anything that amazing. But that's it for me. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.